tiny babies just do not have the capacity to calm themselves. They are very limited in what they can do to soothe. They can suck their hands. You'll often see sucking. They might suck their hands, or they'll suck at the breast or the bottle, on your clothing. They'll suck, and that's something that does help them soothe. But in terms of being able to calm themselves down, when they're distressed, they need help. So think about when your baby is distressed, what would be something they've experienced before in their past that was calm, that was non-threatening, that didn't involve nappy changes and wind and being handled. It was their time in utero. So what their time in utero did was give them experiences that still remain in their brain. So what did they experience in utero? They were all scrunched up, all contained, all snuggled within. So when your baby's distressed, snuggle them in really close to you. If their arms are flapping around, just tuck them in so that they're really contained. Bundle them up, curve them a little bit, put them back in that little position, tuck their little legs up and let them soothe in that crouched sort of position. And then as they relax, just let them relax down a bit so they just will find a body form. When they're struggling, think about movement. Think about what they experienced in utero. Dump, dump, dump. You walked around. They experienced that rhythmical. And what we often will do is just pat them. We just pat, and we put them up over our shoulders and we pat, pat, pat. And this is something they've already experienced and they often respond to it. Something else that they respond to is the sound. The sound. What do they hear in utero? Shh, 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 shh. As the blood was pumped around past their ears almost. So that is something they do respond to, but we do it quietly. We don't try and overwhelm them with the sound. We're trying to soothe them with the sound. So when you shush, you just shush in a rhythmical motion. Move with them, pat in a rhythmical motion. Some babies absolutely love hearing music. We sing to them or hum. Humming is really soothing. Voice, talk to them about things that just distract you a little bit from the intensity of your own experience as well. It's very hard as parents not to become emotionally involved when your baby is distressed. However, it's really important not to internalise that stress and become that distress of the baby. If you can remain calm, then you can offer them a safe little place where they can be until they calm down. Not every baby calms easily. Not every baby calms easily all the time. So you will learn what works for your baby. You'll have different ways of holding them. You might find that the sling works when you put them in their sling. Sometimes it won't work. Perhaps try the pram. Try them in the pram for a little while. The whole idea is about calming them down so you can do whatever you need to do. If you need them to get off to sleep and it's ready for their sleep time, if they're crying hysterically, they won't be able to just drift off to sleep. They need to be calm and then they can become ready for their sleep. So it's a really important thing to remember that babies don't just automatically calm themselves, and we can help them in ways that are appropriate for their experience. When you're trying to calm a baby, just remember that they don't have the ability to take on new information really quickly. They have to process it, and their processing of information is much slower than ours. So if you offer them a shush and a pat and a cuddle and in the pram in quick succession, they probably won't be able to respond to even the first thing you've offered them before you've moved on to the next. So I give them, 5, 10, 15 seconds to just see if they can respond to what you're offering them. And if that's not working, then you offer them something else. But try to avoid just swapping from one to the other really quickly, because they may well be just processing the information, feeling the calm, starting to calm, and you move on to something else. Another thing that's really helpful for them is to offer them progressive experiences. And it's kind of like staging the implementation of what you're doing. So if they're really quiet, just try speaking to them first. If they're just in their little bed, or if they're in your arms, just speak to them. It's all right. It's all right. We're here. Maybe it's not all right. Maybe you say to them, You've got a pain, I think. I don't know what it is, but I can see it's troubling you. I'll cuddle you through it. It's all right. Here we are. I'm here. I'm here for you. If they're not responding to that, then perhaps add a little pat. Just add a little bit of rhythm to what you're offering them. So now they've got your voice. It's been calming. That's not working. So we offer them a little more in that progression of what you can help them with soothing. So if you're adding a bit of patting, maybe a position change, maybe just changing their position. Some babies really like up over your shoulder. Some babies really don't. You will learn what your baby likes, but keep in mind that when you finally figure out what they like, they're developing so quickly that they might like something else again soon. So be prepared to be flexible. And I think if you follow through with something that is flexible, that you're offering them experiences that are not agitating them and overwhelming them, they will eventually calm, but sometimes they take a while to calm. If they've got a bubble of wind, or if they're trouble with something inside, or if they're just feeling overwhelmed, they won't just calm really quickly. So be prepared to sit with them for a while and stay with them. There's actually research to say that when you're with their child when they're distressed, that they experience the distress at a lesser level, which means they don't release all their stress hormones as much. So it's nice to be with them and try and calm them. If you're struggling, call a friend. It's no reflection on you if you're not able to calm your baby, because sometimes we are so connected to our children that when we're calming them, we are agitating them, and it's just such a natural process to do. So maybe just pop them in the pram. Maybe pop them in the pram and go for a walk out in the fresh air. Maybe talk to your partner, your family. If you've got support around you, please reach out for it. So this one is about remembering calming babies, remembering that they need your help at this age, and that the more you help them when they really need you, the more they'll learn that everything is not a catastrophic event because you've made it feel better for them. And over time, they will respond to your calming. And you too, as parents and caregivers, you and your baby will set up this very intimate relationship where you know what your baby is wanting and they know how you're going to respond. And this is part of that really close connection that builds over time.